What's up, everybody? You're tuned into Music Box, where you can see the latest in American music videos. I'm your host, Maria Cozette. What a lovely show I have today. I have someone here who really just exudes positivity. He has the project going on called Streaming Hope. Please visit streaminghopela.com. I am talking about Anto Borokyan, aka the Wordsmith. He's an actor and a spoken word artist. So stay tuned for my interview with him. And of course, I have brand spanking new music videos. So it's gonna be an awesome show. We are streaming online live as a youtube.com/Horizon Armenian TV. And of course, we are on Charter Channel 3 and Digital Channel 31.6. Stay tuned. Hey guys, what's up? You're tuned into Music Box, and my guest today is very special in that I haven't had a guest like this ever on Music Box, so thank you for coming. Anto Borokyan, he is a spoken word artist and an actor, so it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having us, Marie.
My pleasure. So Anto, I have a lot to talk to you about. Very interesting career that you have and progression throughout your career. So first and foremost, let's talk about the beginning of what is your upbringing?
Upbringing, I was born and raised in Kuwait. Went to the Armenian school there, and in the summers would go to Anjar in Lebanon, and pretty much between there and Beirut, back and forth. And in 1990, we came here for a wedding and a ganunk, a christening, and the Gulf War started.
Wow.
We never went back.
Interesting.
Wow.
And has anyone in your family, I believe you said your father comes from a background of acting, correct?
Yeah, both of my parents were in the drama, performing drama Armenian group in Kuwait, and my mom was an actually artist. She painted and
Wow.
drew a lot. And then my father was an actor, really dedicated. He was great. He used to take me to rehearsals with him. And I used to actually remember sitting there and actually memorizing his lines.
Oh, wow.
And I just sit there just like make sure he'd say everything correctly.
You're like, Dad, don't worry, I got
Yeah,
you.
I got you.
That's so cute.
And then I actually did performance poetry when I was in school. I loved poetry. I was like performing it. So
Interesting.
that's the background.
Yes, and we're going to get into, of course, the meat of our conversation today, and why you're here is to talk about your spoken word artistry. First, I do, however, want to touch up on your acting career. So how did you get into the realm of acting?
Well, I remember watching this one show called The Pretender.
Okay.
Back in the day, and I thought it was so cool that you can be an actor and be doing all these different things and be able to tell a story to let people, give people insight on different parts of things they were afraid to think about, or give people situations to think, what would I do?
Right.
So the storytelling aspect of it, and I ended up deciding to do it because one day, I was like, what do I really want to do? And performing was huge. I always saw myself, I always envisioned myself in these stories and what I would do in these characters. So I had a friend who said, hey, let's check out the acting studio to train at, and it was over at Aaron Spicer. And I walked in there and started taking lessons and did scene study and voice technique and improv and the whole gamut for about 2 years. Funny thing is I actually booked a lot more stuff before I started taking acting stuff. But I really wanted to hone my technique and my craft, and if I was going to do it, I was going to do it the right way. And met a coach named Anthony Gilardi, and he's got his own studio now, the Anthony Gilardi Acting Studio, and he has this thing called hippos, and he says that, you got to have a hippo life. I was like, what?
What is he saying?
Yeah, and he give us bracelets like that. So what he says is a hippo doesn't have the ability to go from side to side. Once it focuses on something, it'll go for it.
Interesting.
And anything that gets in this path, it doesn't see. Not in a bad way. It just doesn't.
Right.
So
it's focused that it just has the tunnel vision.
In this industry, you really have to focus, and you have to do it for the right reasons. You can't.
That's true.
So anyway, so he said, "What do you do? What's your unique technique? What's going to set you off above everybody else?" And I said, "I write poetry." He goes, "Okay, you're going to perform one piece of poetry every week in front of this classroom." And to me, it was, my poetry was my treasures. I kept it to myself.
Right. And
so,
sometimes it's so personal, it's hard to share with others,
And, through the process, I learned that being an artist is really opening up your heart.
Right.
And that's where people can connect to. People aren't going to connect to words that you say or, what you look like. they're going to connect to a story.
Right.
So that's the background.
Nice.
Yeah.
And recently you filmed a pilot, right?
About a few months ago. Yeah.
Okay, and how was that experience?
It was great. This is called Global Operation. My character in it is a guy named Ariel El Karma.
Interesting.
Egyptian father, American mother, and I'm a DSS agent, which is kind of like CSI or FBI, but they move around. So they're the ones that protect all the diplomats and stuff.
Right.
And it's about sex trafficking, and the stories are real stories that are put out there from the headline. So it's basically based on true stories, all of them.
Wow.
The producer herself is a survivor of sex trafficking.
Wow.
And so this is her way of changing things.
Right.
So
and
yeah,
she's telling a story.
she's telling the story, and other people are telling the stories. But the way I come into it is I get transferred and to LA from DC into this team because they found a big crate with passports in it, which makes it a federal thing, and that's how we come into the story.
Interesting.
So
Very interesting.
yeah, it's I love those roles. I love the 35 to 42 roles, which is kind of, I feel like that's my niche right now, even though that's way older than I am. But
yeah, I was gonna say.
But it's fun because I like those blue collar. Those are the high class white collar or the blue collar, very military kind of.
Right.
It's cool. So that's the stuff I kind of go for.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna check out a reel of yours. So here is Anto Bohokyan in his reel.
Where is Christian?
Exactly. Where is Christian? Where is he, huh? Christian might have held the gun, but you might as well have pulled the trigger. Cause and effect. You broke into my house. Give me one good reason why I should let you live.
You still haven't answered my question. Where is Christian?
How the fuck do I know? He freaked and ran.
Even you can't save him now, can you, Jason boy? Hey, Morgan. Are you transferring to India? I think it's about time we get these assholes.
But we never have a shot at love. We're both too self-involved. We can only love people that give themselves completely to us.
Tú eres el maestro, ¿cierto?
Sí, yo le estoy enseñando.
You're tuned into Music Box, and we're back with my guest here today, actor and spoken word artist Anto Bohokyan, also known as the Wordsmith. So Anto, let's talk about spoken word.
Okay.
How did you get into spoken word? And I know that you mentioned that you write poetry, so was it kind of a correlation of, and how did it kind of develop into spoken word and performing spoken word?
Well, I always believe that words have power,
They definitely
and they're underestimated. So after I started doing the acting thing and once a week performing, on November 1st, I remember I looked at my iPhone and it said 256 hours on it. I said, what have I done in the last 256 hours? And I decided November 1st that I'm gonna keep a journal for the next 1,000 hours of, am I gonna make decisions that are gonna be closer to my dream or further away? And I was gonna document it in the form of a journal, which was gonna be a book called 1,000 Hours. And the spoken word piece really came out and as a journal entry, and then I realized I was actually writing it in a poetic form. So that's how it started coming out. I wrote my first piece on November 3rd. It was after my mom's birthday. A friend of mine was sitting there writing, and it just felt like words were downloading,
Oh, that's so
yeah,
cool.
and it was cool.
It was flowing.
It was flowing. So after that, I ended up getting invited to Abbot Kinney for First Fridays to do an
I
event
love
there.
Abbot Kinney and First Fridays. Very dope.
So at the youth center over there off of California. So I performed my first time there, and I got really inspired. And before that, I had been dared by my coach to do it somewhere other than class. So I found this really cool place on Monday nights. They have it's called Speakeasy at the Last Bookstore in downtown. And the host is amazing. Her name's Lady Bosco, and she makes a really safe place for people to do an open mic. So I got up there, I did my first 2 pieces, it was like, okay, I lived through that, I can do this again. And
You're
then
like, I could do it.
February, that was February 6th, and then in early March, I performed at that event in Venice, and I was like, I want to start my own. So this little faith community I go to, they gave me this space, really cool, right in Hollywood, right down off of Sunset, and it was huge. So I started Streaming Hope, and I got all my friends that are talented. I said, look, we're missing out on each other's talents. We're gonna put a microphone. It's gonna be okay to show off or do your thing or mess up. Anything goes.
Right.
So ready, you go. And that was March 30th of last year.
That's awesome. So who is involved in Streaming Hope?
Streaming Hope, basically, I would consider my baby, and I perform around town, different open mics, different events. And when I see people that have a positive message or need a place where they feel safe, I'll be like, hey, I have this event the last Friday of every month in Hollywood. Come through. And I get their contact information whatsoever. And then I usually have one person that takes care of all the food prep and all that. So, and then the place is actually at an old looking church. We converted to an art space. We put
cool.
art on the walls and photography. So it allows people to come through and be exposed. And then the stage is a 13 mic lineup. The first half an hour is an open mic. You can sign up at 7:50, 8 o'clock it closes. Everybody gets 5 to 6 minutes. Show starts around 8:45, goes to about 10:30.
Very cool.
Yeah, and the artists can come sell their merchandise. And my hope is that people get exposed. And I invite people from the industry to come check it out incognito. Nobody knows who they are. They can just relax and enjoy a show.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what.
Nice.
It's the slogan is giving artists a platform to shine.
Yes, and I actually, I love how you say that your aim is to address the broken human condition and give hope that inspires others to follow their heart. So that's beautiful. And with that said, let's check out a promo about Streaming Hope. We'll be right back with Anto Bogokian.
My name's Anto Bogokian. I'm the producer and performer at Streaming Hope, which is a collaborative artist event that we put together on the last Friday of the month. And then basically what you can expect when you come through the doors is an amazing community of supportive artists and audience that listens attentively. You can expect to see performances that are spoken word, music, comedy, art and photography on the wall. Sometimes we have a live artist painting. Each event has a theme, and that kind of started after the first one. The first one was called Streaming Hope, and then I wanted to have something special for every month, a little milestone. So I'd get these weird phrases sometimes. I'm like, oh, the next one's gonna be about the love sonnets. After that it was identity, and then breakthrough. So it kind of gave the artist something to look forward to and to challenge them to write to something maybe they wouldn't normally write to. And yeah, I like that. Anything you start, you really have to put your heart and soul into it. So one of my challenges was just doing what was in my heart. The motto for Streaming Hope is giving the artist a platform to shine. My dream is to make that platform bigger and bigger and bigger. This is Joshua Woolen. What do you see in Streaming Hope? Like your take on it from the artist's point of view?
I've just seen it as really a really positive platform that like you said, artists can come and they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to have their whole game together. And there's some amazing artists that come through and they're just like, I'm blown away by. But then there's people that are just, you can tell they're kind of starting out and like, I've never done this before. And they get that applause, and they get that support, and it's so important to have a place that's safe to mess up, a place that's safe to be imperfect, and know that you're still accepted. That's an amazing place.
If you want to get involved with Streaming Hope, it's really simple. You come out to a show, the first half an hour is an open mic. You can also send us an email, which is streaminghopela@gmail.com. That's streaminghopela. You can look us up on Facebook under Streaming Hope. You can follow us on Twitter @Streaming Hope or on Instagram Streaming Hope, and you can get a hold of us. But best way is basically
Come on through and check it out.
back with the Wordsmith, and for everything and all information pertaining to Onto, you can visit gowithonto.com, and for all information and updates regarding Streaming Hope, visit streaminghopela.com. So, Onto, tell us, how can people get involved with Streaming Hope?
The easiest way is to come through, and the address and all the information is always updated on the website and on Facebook page. The Facebook page is a lot more frequent, and what you can do is send me an email, streaminghopela@gmail.com, and you know what you do. I'm looking for good artists. I'm looking for people that are starting out, and you know, you don't have to have it together. You just got to start and show up and, you know, get through one thing at a time.
Right.
So that's the best way. You can send me a reel if you want, and I'll check that out. And that's how you get involved. It's the last Friday of the month.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what are some, let's talk about your charitable work,
Okay.
the upcoming fundraiser.
Okay. So we're going to be setting up Streaming Hope as an official organization, which is happening. And as of today,
Congrats.
actually, yeah,
Yay,
I know.
nice.
That's what I was doing earlier.
I love it.
And what's going to happen is Streaming Hope's going to become a for-profit that's going to be funding a nonprofit for kids. So with it, I have a passion for kids. I think they're the most amazing things,
Yes.
not things, human beings that have so much potential, but they don't really know where to do it. I've been working with youth for over 11 years, and recently I started teaching a poetry class last 2 years, and our Armenian kids have so much to say, and they just don't have a platform to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and not just Armenian kids, but kids in general.
Right.
So when you give them an outlet, it really makes them feel important, which they are, but they get to realize how important they, you know,
Right, actually,
yeah,
yeah.
they have something to say.
Yeah.
And it really helps us adults to not forget what it's like to be a kid.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely hanging out with a kid and spending any time with any age child really brings out.
I mean, you used to
the
hang out
kid
with
in
kids,
you.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So regarding kids, actually, you're a teacher as well.
Yeah.
So what grade do you teach?
I teach 5th to 8th grade math at Armenian Sisters Academy, and then I teach the poetry class, which is an elective class. And I've been doing that there since 2002.
Wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
November 16th of 2002, and before that I taught in Orange County at a private school, or at a public school, at Ensign Middle School.
So what is your schedule like as far as like teaching, and then do you work on Streaming Hope when you get off work and your creative juices start to flow?
You know, the hard part is my creative juices start flowing after 10 o'clock, which is, you know.
I know, and then you have to wake up
right.
in the morning.
So my usual schedule every day is I wake up around 5. I'm in the pool at 5:30, swim till about 7.
Mm-hmm.
Get some breakfast, start teaching at 8 till about 12:30. Some days get to play basketball with the kids, and usually after that is I take care of the Streaming Hope stuff.
Right.
In the summers when I'm not doing any of this, I lifeguard at the beach. So as the weather starts getting warmer, I start tending to go that route. So summertime's my break from acting. All I'm doing is lifeguarding and Streaming Hope. So it kind of dials everything down
Right.
for me. So yeah, that's usually my schedule, and you know, planning events with other people. This event coming up, is pretty.
Where is the event? Let's talk about
So we partnered up with Love and Does, which is an amazing boutique organization that helps people like me start up with nonprofit stuff and do the parties and event planning.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do it at the Three Dog Cantina on Cahuenga,
Okay.
and it's going to be on the 27th, which is Saturday night. It's a full-on red carpet event. We got 8 amazing artists. Like, I handpicked these guys because they're just awesome and they're so entertaining to watch. So the night's going to start around, doors open at 9:15. You know, there'll be photographers and all that stuff there. Food available for purchase, drinks available for purchase. And the show starts at 10:15. It goes till about 12. And then, so party before, party afterwards, show in the middle.
So April 27th.
Yep.
And all information is on streaminghopela.com.
Yes, you can also go on eventbrite.com and type in Streaming Hope, and it'll come up. If it's also on the Facebook page, I mean, it's blasted
All over
everywhere.
the place.
If you go on Facebook and type Streaming Hope, we'll come up. press like on the page and then hit on the
Yes,
event.
and my fans here are no stranger to social media. We're all about it. So visit the fan page, like it, and get all the updates about this amazing, amazing project you have going. It's very admirable to see people doing work like this and really like allotting their time towards something of a worthy cause.
It's been 1 year literally. So this is our 13th show, and 13 is my lucky number. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Come on through.
That's awesome. Hate to put you on the spot, but I have to. So are you gonna perform a little piece for us?
Sure.
Cool.
Why not?
We're ready for it.
If I could write a letter to myself when I was 12, I would say something like, "Hey, little boy blue, staying a gulf and 2 oceans away from what you used to call home wasn't your idea of vacation. And who knew that learning English would actually turn into a blessing? And I wish you'd learn early on that you can't change too many things by stressing and carrying the world weight on your chest. And I want to thank you for early in your life deciding to work harder than most people. Because in your lifetime, you're not going to have the opportunity to coast through. And you're going to shine. You're going to shine when least expected, when you follow your heart and trust your gut instinct. And I want to thank you for deciding to never give up. Like when it took you 18 minutes to run the mile because the inside of your fat thighs used to rub, but you never walked. And you dreaded running days, but to PE class you still showed up. And when your friend asked you if you're going to try out for the swim team, you said, "Yeah, I'm going to swim the butterfly." But you know that I know you hadn't the slightest idea what the butterfly was, except for you had to use 2 arms instead of 1. But you still showed up. Size 38 trunks, shirt off, 3 rolls on each side. And you made a splash when you dove in the pool. Managed to leave some water in there. That day you learned the difference between splashing around and swimming. When on the clipboard next to your name you saw 2.5 points out of 20. But you still showed up. Every day. From 5:30 to 7. And every afternoon from 3:30 to 5:30. Tucked away in the slow lane, number 6. Stroke after stroke, learning discipline. You're not going to win any races your first 2 years. But it's not about the trophy or first place. It's about the process. And you're going to have to get real familiar with the term butterball, but don't you worry, because those fat calories will become the building blocks of strong character, integrity, and a bar-none work ethic that's going to propel you to 6 foot and a quarter, 174 pounds of 89% muscle mass that's getting paid to swim and change lives, making a difference when you show up. The one that sticks out in your memory bank the most is this hot day in July. Driftwood Tower, Southside Venice Beach, surf pumping, scraping the bottom of the pier. And the sand was playing in between her toes, and she had some pink zinc oxide on her nose and got a little too close, and the water rushed up, picked up and swept out in rip current's claws, and off the back, 15-foot liquid freight trains coming. But you showed up. With lightning fast running, diving through waves that most would consider frightening, stroke after stroke, focused on your victim, no hesitation to give her the red can of the rescue line. And on the way back in, 100 yards from shore, next set, 12-foot Mack trucks with 5-foot whitewater walls and 4 feet of depths could be frightening and your heart's beating out of your chest, but you must exude calmness when you look in those scared blue eyes and ask her to trust you. And she does, because you showed up. And bam, you get hit, and every wave seems up, but it's not. And you're hanging on to her life, and she's hanging on to your promise of it's going to be okay. I promise, little girl, you're going to be okay. And you both get spat up on the sand, and white knuckles and clenched teeth relax to say thank you as tears roll down a mother's face because her 7-year-old baby girl is back in her arms safe because you showed up every day from 5:30 to 7 in the morning and 3:30 to 5 in the afternoon, tucked away in the slow lane, number 6, stroke after stroke, learning discipline. You're not going to win in your races your first 2 years, but it's not about the trophy or first place. It's about the process. From 5'2", size 38 trunks, shirt off, 3 rolls on each side with man boobs. Only back then you were a kid, so I guess kid boobs. But who knew? Over a 6-year span, you would save over 110 should have been dead for sure, not gone back to home to their families' lives. That one decision, that one degree changed the trajectory of so many. Because once upon a time, you believed in hard work. Because once upon a time, when everybody else said you can't, you said, I will do all things through the one who strengthens me. Because once upon a time, you stepped up on those blocks and you showed up.
Very dope performance, Anto. I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was awesome. Thank you so much for coming to Music Box and blessing my set. Are there any comments, or would you like to address my Music Box fans? And I'm sure all of your fans and students are watching as well.
You know, you really gotta follow your heart. Everybody's gonna tell you that, you know, it's a crazy idea and there's too many difficulties, and everybody's gonna point out what's gonna go wrong. But if you quiet down and you listen to yourself, you'll be able to see right through that and keep, you know, that focus on the prize and learn to help people. Because if you do it on yourself, or if I do it by myself, at the end I celebrate great. But my whole idea is to do it with a community, because when one wins, everybody wins. And you get to celebrate with a lot more people.
Right.
So trust your heart, trust your gut instinct, and dare to get up and show up to whatever you want to do. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for your time. Check out Streaming Hope on Facebook, like us, Streaming Hope LA. Come to the show. It's going to be amazing, I promise you. So
yes, yeah. Well said. Once again, you can visit gowithanto.com for all information pertaining to this wonderful artist. And of course, visit streaminghopela.com and all of the social media sites. Please like the fan page, get the updates, and attend the event April 27th. Thank you so much, Anto. Stay tuned for some dope music videos.
Thanks.